Okay, Unit 5 is probability. So we're going to talk first about two definitions. So we have experimental probability and theoretical probability. What is the difference? So experimental is what happened. So maybe, for instance, if I have a die, it would be, I'm going to roll this 6 times, and we could count how many times we roll a 1. So okay, so we rolled a 3, a 3, a 4, a 4, a 1, and a 2. Okay, so you could see that this is what happened. So, okay, for instance, if I had said what's the probability of getting a 1, experimentally it ended up being 1 out of 6. But the 3 appeared 2 times out of 6. So that is the experimental probability. So the number of times event A occurred, so for instance, the number of times a 3 occurred was twice out of my trials, which was 6. Okay, versus the theoretical probability, what should have happened. So on a die, okay, we know that there's 6 possibilities, so there should theoretically be a 1 in 6 chance that each one is occurring. So a 3 should be once out of every 6 rolls. Okay? And obviously with experimental probability, if you have a very small sample, your numbers probably won't match the theoretical. But if I did 3,000 rolls of the dice, I would think that it would come out closer to 1/6. That's what should happen. So the larger the experiment, the closer you should get to your theoretical. So if you see this formula, what's the big difference? It's that this is NT and this is NS. So that's the difference. Experimental is based on the trials versus theoretical is based on your sample space. So when we had our sample space on a die, this is our sample space. So the 3 should occur 1 in 6. Okay, is this a fair game? A fair game is a game in which all players are equally likely to win. So, example 1, Jack will win the game if he flips a head of a coin. So the probability that Jack would win would be 1/2. Vanessa would win the game if she rolls a 1 or a 5 on a dice. So Vanessa would win if she had a 1 or a 5. So that would be 2 favorable outcomes out of 6 possibilities, which is 1/3. Is this game fair? No. So obviously Jack has a better chance. Okay. Flipping a coin. Let me get a coin here. Okay, flip a coin. What's the probability of landing on a head? Experimental. Okay, so 6 flips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Head. Head. Oh, another head. Tails. Another tails. Oh. And that rolled on the floor, but it is a tails. Okay. So in the experimental probability, it ended up that 3 out of 6 were heads, which is 1/2. But you can see how that could go any way. So as of right now, we started with a 100% chance that it would have been a heads if we had only had a sample space of 3. So what is the theoretical probability of landing on a head? Should be 1 out of 2.